If you aren't really clear about what you're needing and who might be the right fit for that, more than likely do what you've done before and not with great results. And you're also going to continue to repeat a pattern.
And today we're going to talk about hiring staff.
It's a big deal, and you already know that.
So what we found is in working with our clients, they need people. Everybody needs people in order to grow and scale their business because they can't do it all themselves. However, when they go out and they decide they want to hire somebody, they'll just bring somebody in and just start talking to them. And without a clear description on the part of the owner of specifically what that person is going to be doing, because they don't have clarity about it. They may think they got clarity about it, but it's not written down and it's not curated through several different levels so that everybody is in agreement.
If you aren't really clear about what you're needing and who might be the right fit for that, what would that person look like, then you're going to more than likely do what you've done before and not with great results. And you're also going to continue to repeat a pattern. And so we want to really look at this, your hiring process, and we want to see what it's like and are there any patterns with who you've hired before and who you have right now?
And look at the results.
Yes.
If who you got right now is not fitting the bill, you have to go in and do what's called a post-mortem on your process. Well, don't be.
That's a serious one.
That is a serious one. That's when you go and you tear it apart and you ask a lot of different questions. And the whole purpose of that is to improve the next time that you do that. So without having clarity, without having it written down, then things fall through the crack. Specifically, what time are they going to have to arrive and what time do they get their lunch? These are all things that are assumed, but they need to be written down so that that person can be held, big word here, accountable.
Yes, so this is all to start out to say that it is really important to have a standard operating procedure for your, whether it's front desk,
front counter,
or whatever you have. It's really important so that as you're starting to do these interviews, you're putting out a advertisement. It's so important that you get really clear about what you really need and who you need for that position. And we encourage you to write that out so that really helps you to get more clarity. And then when you start your process of interviewing, you have a better idea of what you're looking for, and you don't just hire anyone because they're a warm body and they can talk.
That's right. And what we found as well is if you don't have that clearly defined and written down so that you can actually give that to the person you're interviewing, then what we have seen is employer will ask, well, what do you need? That takes you out of the driver's seat because you're hiring for specific skills and they may have the skills. However, they may not have the temperament that meshes with your environment.
Yeah, and when Tom was talking about what do you need, what we've seen is people who are doing the interview and they're, under so much stress because they need someone right now or yesterday. They want to rush through the process, and so they're going to say, well, how much money do you need? Instead of saying, this is what this job that you could expect that you could take home in revenue.
Mm-hmm.
And so we want you to that's the piece we want to really make sure that you're doing. We want you to slow down. We want you to slow down so that you're not rushing through it and you hire them and then you realize you might have made a mistake, or they get the job and they realize that they might have made a mistake by taking the job. And then you've got an unhappy employee.
Oh, and you've got an unhappy employer.
Yes.
As well, because you haven't solved your problem with the features or duties that need to be performed because you still got a hole. Mm-hmm. So here's the other thing. Another little tidbit here is never hire an employee on the first interview.
No, you need them back in 3 times. 3 times.
Okay. Why 3 times?
First of all, you want to have the first interview, and that's just kind of like getting to know each other. And the second one is to start to look to see, can they really do this job? Do they have the right qualifications for it? And then after you get really clear about that, and then you leave that interview, the owner, going, okay, so, my first 2 times that I've seen this person, they've dressed nice, they have shown up really on time, and they presented themselves really well. And now the next thing is, what do I want to offer them?
Yes.
For salary,
right,
or hourly, whichever one you're going to use for this particular job.
And if you really like this person, the temperament is there. That second interview is about temperament.
It is.
The first interview is about skills.
Yes, you're right.
Okay, and then the third interview is when you make an offer, if you decide that this person is good, and get back with them as soon as possible after you make a decision. Don't wait a week.
No.
Because that's I'm going to use the word, that's rude.
Yes.
Because that person is spending their time to come to meet with you, and you're spending your time. So let's come to a resolution. It's either a yes or a no. Or it's, here's what I want to offer. If it's going to be a negotiation, if you think you really want this person, you could go up, then you could have in mind a range. And then that would give a little negotiating space for the employee to come in.
The other important thing is, as you do hire someone, make sure that you have a 30-day review, and a 60-day review, and then a 90-day review. Those are so important, because at that 90-day review, you both get to decide whether you want them to continue working with you, and they get to decide whether it's the right job for them.
Absolutely.
And that's really important. I mean, this is why I'm saying slow down, because we all get in a rush, and out of lack and out of high need, we will hire the wrong person. And then you're stuck until you can figure out how to no longer have them there in your business. And they feel stuck because they know
it's a limited engagement.
Yes.
So anyway, that's a little bit about hiring, and the big part about this is the owner. The owner has got to be clear.
Yes.
And if the owner is not clear, then you got paradigms. And a paradigm is just habits that are keep running and running, and you got a program running in your subconscious mind that is, giving you the results that you had up to this point. And if you want something different, then you got to go in and change the cause.
Yes.
And that's the program. And that's where Zane and I come in, and we help the owner do that. And that improvement, that transformation, filters down to every aspect of your life, where that control and that management is so much stronger. Life is much more satisfying and much more complete.
And also, we want to say about, not only for the owner, but if you have a team and you have a manager, it's really important to train this manager to be able to do these interviews in a way that empowers the manager, for one thing, and give them the clarity of what is really needed. And it's important that, as the owner, that you stay in contact with this manager on a regular basis to be able to see, are they doing their job that you hired them for?
Absolutely.
Because this is a big deal. It doesn't matter whether you've got 6 employees or 100. If you don't have your manager trained, then in the way that you would like for them to work, and you're hiring the same way you've always hired, and you've trained that manager to hire that way.
Or maybe the manager hasn't been hiring anybody, and you've been doing all the hiring.
Yes, that's true. So, but we want to make sure you don't leave the manager out.
Circle back around to your standard operating procedures.
Yes.
That includes hiring. That includes what the manager does. That includes what the front desk does, or the counter does. That includes stocking of the retail. That includes taking care of the inventory. All those are standard operating procedures. And once you get those standard operating procedures functioning, and everyone is accountable to it, that's another big thing. You may have it all down in a manual, but nobody reads the manual. So that's where the accountability comes in, and that's where Zan and I come in, because we're a third party coming in, monitoring, And in that way, the employees don't get mad at you.
Yes.
They get mad at us. We get tested, and we do this all the time. So
it's a part of our DNA to be coaches. And so when we share our information with you, we're very excited and we're very pleased, and we know that we can help.
And this is what we do. Why don't you just put in the comment hiring, and we will get a document to you that will help you in some respects put together an SOP as well.
That's right.
So
reach out.
we look forward to hearing from you.